All right, everybody. So I am here with former, could you call it a unicorn candle or just, former failed, I honestly don't remember if this was a failed test scent. I don't think so. I think Pink Petal Tea Cake went wide in the Garden Party 2014, I believe it was. Is that right? Yeah, 2014 collection. Tina Divalicious, one of his favorites. He's big into the florals, and he really loves this one, and so happy for him that it came back. For me, it was one back in the day that was kind of like, could take it or leave it. At the same time, that's back when there were many, many great scents to choose from. Bringing it back today compared to, 10 other scents in a collection, it's likely going to be the best one, and pretty much is the best one in the, the home collection, or the Scandinavian ripoff collection, I guess you could call this. But we'll get into comparing them. Obviously, it's a direct repackage of the old Pink Petal Tea Cake, but I kind of wanted to talk about that one, give my opinion on it in general, as well as talk about, again, what could be called a similar unicorn candle of Sugarberry Spritzer, which came out in the Garden Party collection, and I'm most positive that one definitely did not go wide, because I believe it was Pink Petal Tea Cake went wide and the Spritzer did not. Again, someone could correct me, but I'm pretty certain that that's how it went. Looking at these ones, I guess, where do we start? I guess just maybe with the notes on old versus new. So this was the Garden Party collection. I actually was doing reviews when this came out, so you can actually go back in my history here if you want to see the original review I gave of this one. I don't remember what I said about it or if I liked it, to be entirely honest, but it's interesting. Again, I'm not a huge floral fan, but I have plenty of floral candles. Not a huge bakery fan, but have plenty of bakery candles. I'm more impressed when something is executed either authentically or conceptual and interestingly, which this one to me is kind of a mix of the two. Now, the notes on the original Pink Petal Tea Cake were rose petals, cake, vanilla glaze. Pretty straightforward. Had kind of a crappy burn on it. You can see it's one of those candles where it was definitely heading toward off color. The Garden Party collection, though, was one of the last really nice spring collections, I think, at Bath & Body Works, because there were some really great scents in here. A lot of, the honeysuckle, I think maybe even watermelon lemonade and lilac blossom, and some of the boring ones that came through the years. But then there was Garden Party, which was a really nice blend of spring florals. And then you had Pink Petal Tea Cake and Sugarberry Spritzer, which were all kind of vaguely different and unique. And it came back after all of these years, kind of surprising. It came back as soft. Talk about soft. This practically looks tan or cream colored in this light. It is the slightest bit of a pink to it. And again, the aesthetic I think is interesting. I sort of like it. I would like it more if it wasn't fully ripped off from another company, because man, can they just pay someone to be creative at Bath & Body Works? It's kind of crazy. $1 billion L Brands, limited brands company can't hire a design director or a creative art director to be able to, sure, do some market research, see what's hitting, see the trends that are popular, that people prefer and that people like in home fragrance or in, design in general, but come up with something that's your own at the same time. And even just the execution is sloppy. You have these little images around there, which, okay, it's fine. Again, fully copied from another company, which if you haven't seen, on Instagram, there's plenty of folks, the Bronze Blogger, Bath & Body Works Daily Find, they all have shared how this entire collection was a ripoff from a Scandinavian company of home fragrance, of candles, which is, again, I hate even supporting that with purchasing, but what are you going to do? What's weird about this one to me, so again, it came out, I don't know why this scent would come out in the winter. They put snowflakes on it as if to say, yes, we know that it's coming out in the winter, even though it's not a winter candle. Don't know. But soft. Again, I like the idea of they've done through the years many times where they'll either have a mood, emotion, a mood and emotion, or a feeling that they have, a fragrance associated with it. And it started way back from the Gold Lid aromatherapy collection, where they, happy, smile, comfort, joy, etc. I think that's kind of interesting. It brings cohesion to a collection that may not be cohesive in the scents themselves. The whole thing with essential oils, I don't know if I believe them, especially when it comes back to saying, bringing back an old scent. If they had just a line that they said were with essential oils, I could maybe believe that a little bit, but also essential oils are fairly volatile. You can't put them in wax and expect them to stay stable and the same for years. So yeah, not really certain if that's true or not. I do think they could probably lie. I think the other thing that they could do, even if it's not a lie, is just, you know, it's almost like you can often buy something that has, you know, says that it has orange oils and eucalyptus oils in it, but it also has fragrance in it. And what you're actually smelling is the synthetic fragrance. And there happens to be a drop or two of, you know, molecules worth of the essential oil, but you're actually not smelling that. They're just having that thrown in for basically so they can say that it's in there. And I think that's the deal with this, because I don't think there was orange essential oil from real oranges in this first one. Why would they have something natural when they could do synthetic and it's going to be stable and cheaper to make, like most colognes and perfumes out there? So the fact that they're bringing back an old one and saying, oh yeah, this has orange essential oil in it, I think it's either a lie or, you know, they add it to the blend and, you know, it's there, but it's not really what we're smelling and not the primary scent in there. Synthetic fragrance blend is the primary scent out of chemicals, and that's the way it is. And if people don't believe it, then whatever. But again, it's just marketing, and it's poor marketing. Because again, if they wanted to say this is made with essential oils, it's about wellness, this candle will literally, like the aromatherapy, it will have this benefit to you, or it's essential oils, it's natural, which is better because XYZ, then fine. But just saying, oh, essential oils, like some of them literally have at the bottom just made with essential oils really big. Who cares? Just because that's a trend right now, you think it's going to sell candles? Like, make better blends and don't rip off the ideas from other people. This is really, I do like the scent of this. Comparing the two, again, plenty of folks have done this. It really seems to be pretty much the same. Again, this one's at this point hitting 3, almost 4 years old. Yeah, 4 years old at this point. And burned. So it doesn't give me an authentic sniff on it, but it's essentially, it's on scent memory, it's the same. So you get rose, but it's not grandma's powdery rose. It is more of a true rose petal, like a fresh rose that you just pulled a petal off. And then the bakery, you know, they say fluffy cake. It's not cake like a, you know, cake batter or vanilla cream cake or anything that's obvious. It's just kind of sweet, like almost a sweet of like a soft lemon almost. They don't call lemon, but it's almost like a soft lemony scent that I suppose could be cake, because if I smelled this off the rose petals, I wouldn't think cake. And I wouldn't mind if there was a stronger cake to it, like those small little kind of like petit four or whatever they're called. You know, rose water, vanilla glaze over a like, you know, sponge cake or something. Not quite that, but it's nice. And then of course, they say orange essential oil, but on the original one, it was just the vanilla glaze. You do get a bit of vanilla, again, almost like you could call it like, I actually would say, I didn't realize this before, but the cake that I get is actually kind of like angel food cake. So it's light, it's not, it doesn't have the richness of a true like yellow cake. It's more so that light, you know, it's angel food cake is mostly made with what I think like egg whites and sugar and a little bit of flour. It's super, super spongy. And, you know, not a huge flavor profile or scent to it. But that's what I get, the lightness of angel food cake. So really, kind of, it's like a vanilla rose angel food cake. But again, leaning a little bit more towards the floral versus the bakery. But again, it's interesting, it's nice. I did want to grab it just because, again, I stopped burning this one. At the time, it was probably just because there were so many other scents that were good, and at this point, it's so old and it didn't have a great burn that I haven't bothered lighting it again. But I could definitely see getting into springtime where this would be nice to light as kind of a transitional from spring, like almost into summer, perhaps, or I don't know when. That's the tough thing with this one, is why another reason why I probably didn't burn it much is it doesn't have an obvious mood to it or an obvious time. Whereas I'm very much like, oh, this is a daytime scent. This is an evening scent. This is a, you know, mid-January scent. This evokes a mood. And for me, it doesn't really evoke the mood of a garden party or or springtime even, because it's not pure floral. So that's where I think it's something that I just don't know when I would burn it, but it's a nice blend, especially for those who like it. And then again, since I was just going through my personal vault, basically, I thought it would be cool to bring out this one that, again, no one really talks about, but was the sister to Pink Petal Tea Cake, and that was Sugarberry Spritzer. Pretty label, has like, what is that? Is that hyacinths, some lavender petals, and actually a drink? Like, this is where either they, like, I think did the art direction and took these photographs back then, or they at least photoshopped. Because if you're calling a berry spritzer, now granted, there's no berries in this, but you're thinking of like a purple beverage, and there's some lavender there, and a spritzer with floral in it. This is cohesive, like this makes sense. This, you see this and you know, okay, I kind of have an idea of what this might smell like, which again was what was so nice with the art direction back in the day. It's like, you knew what you were getting into. If you compare these two, again, you got the minimalist, like not really clear why Pink Petal Tea Cake would have a birthday cake with candles, some diamonds, just shapes, a pine tree, and some snowflakes, like not a rose, but different snowflakes, like how that makes sense. Whereas this is, wow, there are actually rose petals and some sort of bakery item and maybe some almonds or something under there. That makes a lot more sense for what you're getting. So either give me just a label with a name, or go all the way and make it seem real. Sugarberry Spritzer, again, is like the purple sister to the Pink Petal Tea Cake. And this one, gosh, that's a long name, or a description. Offer your guests a special treat, a Sugarberry Spritzer. Springy, effervescent blend captures the fun and festivity of a garden party in sparkling water, sugarberries, and elderflowers. What is a sugarberry? Maybe they mean like a berry that they have sugared, like, you know, rolled in sugar. Elderflowers, I've never had elderflowers. I've had elderflower liqueur or syrup, which is really a sweet, delicious liqueur. And sparkling water, again, that's supposed to just be effervescent. But so they're saying sugar, berries, and floral elderflower. Again, I don't think these are elderflowers. That's not elderflower, and that's lavender, but they were going for some, you know, purple florals to match the purple wax here. Now, I actually never lit this one. I grabbed it because, again, this was in the heyday of test scents and when I was just grabbing everything. But it's kind of good. Smelling it now, what I don't like about it is it reminds me a bit of the wateriness of watermelon lemonade, which I bought once, burned it halfway, and didn't need it again because it was so boring, and yet it's come back 30 times. But this does have, again, I wouldn't even call it an effervescence because there's no like sparkle to it, like, you know, summertime soda, which is summertime soda, cranberry pear Bellini, and really just those two are the only ones that I've ever noticed true effervescence from, even though others have said it, including Champagne Toast. And it doesn't really smell like elderflower to me either. It is a bit of a floral, almost like a bubblegummy kind of note to it, but there's something a little bit sharp. Almost like a tart berry or something in there. So interesting, where again, it's like, but again, the idea of a garden party theme of a collection where it was, you're in the garden, this is the candle that would smell like a section of your garden, and this is maybe one of the beverages you'd have there, and this is one of the treats you would have there. Like, truly a beautiful, cohesive idea. And like even the fact that like, oh, maybe your wrought iron fence has this pattern in it. Like, they went for something there. There was a lot of thought behind it, whereas again, now we've got a copy of a Scandinavian fragrance collection with plain galvanized lids and supposedly made with essential oils. Like, hot ass mess. Anyhow, again, I purchased it. I think it smells good. It's interesting, and it's a throwback. And if anything, maybe people purchasing it will make them say, oh, we can actually go into the vault and pull out some old scents instead of creating new dumb ones. So anyhow, I've rambled enough. That's it for this time. I've got 2 more videos to go after this. So we're going for what, $5 today. And until next time, guys, take care.